Now it says we're live. So yes, welcome, or I should say, Guten Tag, Matthias, and okay, USA to Kurt.
Guten Tag. Jawohl. How you guys doing? Good? Kurt?
Yeah, I'm good. So
Good
yes,
to see you. Gareth?
Yeah,
Very nice to see you again.
nice to see
me
you
too. What kind of weather do you have in Germany?
Yeah.
Winterish. We had really nice snow, and now suddenly the temperature is in the 60s, 50s,
Oh
60s.
wow.
Yeah. What about New York?
Well, we've had really cold temperatures, like some days not getting out of the 20s. But today, 55, something like that.
Well, we're facing the same weather.
Yeah.
And
Seems to be
England?
spreading.
What about England?
We had mild stormy weather, then frost, deep frost, and then it's back to mild stormy weather again. So
Oh yeah. So since we talk about the weather, this is the weather channel. So we're going to face more cold weather soon in February, I heard.
allegedly, so yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It usually works out that way. February is usually, if you get a little bit of a reprieve there, it usually comes back on you, the cold weather. So
Yeah, absolutely. Winter is not over.
No.
If I'd be in California, I'd be laughing at you.
That's right.
Yeah.
This is when I really miss California. This time of year.
I know. It's like
it's hard
we
to
both
be.
are not there any longer for some reason at the moment, or maybe for good. And I do miss it. I do miss it, but I don't. So when we were there, it was the ultimate lifestyle.
Yeah. It's not quite as great as it was, back in the 80s and 90s. No, I think I feel like
it's not the same. No, it was the land of honey and money and everything. Right? It was just an amazing time. I mean, anybody with a bit of a will and has something to offer could have made it back then.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. Considering what's today, I wouldn't want to even try it.
Yeah.
No, I was going to ask about that because everything's back then. You had to have the physique and the personality, and you could do 100 films.
I mean, you had to have something. It's just like either you're very easy on the eyes and really charming, or you're like larger, bigger than others, or something that, or you're really ugly. I mean,
yeah, you gotta have a little specialty of some sort, right?
Yeah. The best is always when I auditioned, and I auditioned for giant roles. Now I'm not a giant; I'm 6'5", and I had myself shoes made. They made me 6'7", and I still got laughed out. Every audition got kicked out because these people were really giants. 7 foot.
Wow.
Yeah. So
I never had that. I never had to audition for those roles.
Yeah, exactly. But you had to audition. You had to audition also for you had to audition for the pretty people. In your field, there were quite a lot of good-looking people, right?
Yeah, and it should really always be about the work, but it's not entirely. It's a good blend. You got to have you got to be able to handle the character and play the part and make it believable, but at the same time they're usually going for a particular type of look for each character.
Oh yeah. I'm in the casting office with Jackie Birch. She's the biggest casting director back then for Fox, right? All those Joe Silver movies. And I'm sitting there, and it's like I'm not even sitting there in her office, and she's oozing about this guy that's sitting in the waiting room. Oh my God, he's so handsome. You should see him. He's like this and that. I'm like, oh fuck, but I realized these casting directors, they love these. She at least loved these pretty boys. And then she looked at me and she yelled at me and she said, your tape is just action. like I'm nothing, It wasn't good looking enough. It wasn't like Brad Pittish enough. But those things do happen,
Yeah. Well, it gets you so far, and then that you gotta have something else.
Be an actor, of course.
They might go from a distance, and then when they meet you, or meet these people, they might go, maybe not so much. You know.
Yeah, you have
And then the same opposite I find is some people, like if you look at a woman, for instance, you know, and you're maybe not attracted to her from across the room, but then when you meet
yes,
her and you're talking and you see the real person and the personality, all of a sudden they're so much more beautiful.
absolutely.
You know, and then the opposite with somebody who's really beautiful, you talk to them and go,
Yeah.
that's pretty now that I'm talking to you.
The last thing, and I know we're going to sway away from the subject, but I was part of a casting process for one movie, just sitting in, not doing anything, and they were looking for the leading girl, and there were like so many girls that come in LA, right, to read for a role, every different looks and whatnot, and usually the girls that came in just in jeans with a t-shirt, so to speak, barefoot, were the best actresses.
Yeah.
Really. They didn't care about their looks. They just came in and they just, wow, boom.
Natural, just a natural
Yeah.
beauty and style. Love that.
Yeah. Just good actors.
Sorry, I have a little work going on at the house today. I hope it's not too
Oh,
loud.
yeah. I'm so sorry.
Quiet until I jumped on the call
That's
here.
fine, no? That's fine.
I know that construction sounds so well. So.
That's what it was here, so yeah. Here's a question for you. Do you have any plans to do conventions in the UK?
I would love to. Yeah, I would. First off, I love the UK. I love everything about it. My daughter did a semester abroad in London, and so I, spent some time there, visiting her, and I love everything about it. So yes, and I'm sure Matthias would say yes too. Let's go to UK.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a yes as well. I love England. It is always been that special place, and there's something about it. I went to school there for a little bit, and then we always have these exchange programs where you live with the people in their home. That was really cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
But while we're here, we'll talk about something called the Last Kumite. Before we take other questions again. So no spoilers or anything for the story, because it's going to be coming out soon, isn't it? In the spring, I heard. April
24th.
Yes. Nice.
Are you coming to the premiere? Yeah. Well, it's not a premiere. It's like that showing in the theater, right?
Unfortunately not. I can't get it. But yes,
Kurt,
it's going to be...
You're going to be there, Kurt?
Germany, yes.
Oh, you are?
Go.
Okay, good.
Yeah. I will be here for that. Wouldn't miss it.
Good. Really good.
Yeah, because but I don't think we know exactly where it will be streaming yet, right?
Yeah. No, I haven't heard any news on that yet.
Not an absolute confirmation yet, but
yeah, I would assume that's always the interesting part where the movie finds its home.
Right.
If it's like Amazon and it's like you have to pay money for it, you kind of get lost in the shovel because they don't promote it.
Yeah.
Well, and if it's on Netflix, everyone sees it, at least for the time being. So, yeah, that really makes a difference how many people will see it.
That's right. Yeah,
it does. Yeah,
but so many places to see content now, see movies and shows. So I do feel like it's it can't be bad. Almost anywhere. Wherever if it's Blue, if it's Netflix, it's all going to be good.
Right. Yeah. But there is always that decision. It's literally like that. I noticed it with the movies that I've been doing lately. They either make the cut to Netflix. So if they don't, they end up usually on Tubi and Amazon, right? And Amazon only features in the lineup certain films. So if you're not in that lineup, no one will ever know about it. Only the fan.
Yeah, unless people go looking for it by name or actor.
I have to look for it. Yeah, I did this cowboy film, Assault on Rio Bravo, and Amazon and Tubi and Apple Plus. But you have to know about it. Otherwise, no one's gonna. How would you know? Unless. But Last Kumite has such a huge community, right?
Oh,
that movie, it has such a buzz. So a lot of people.
So many people were waiting for it to come out. So we get a lot of it's getting a lot of buzz. So
Yeah.
we may have to come back on your show, Gareth, and do this again once we know exactly where we can direct fans to see it.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I'll show the teaser trailer, and then we'll have a look at that. It's only 50 seconds, so we'll see you on the other side.
Can you put on?
Now let us begin the battle of the last true gladiators.
Michael, it's time.
You're the lightning, you're a storm in the night. This is the fury of your power and might. Rise to the challenge. Live or die, stand or fall. For the warrior, there's no surrender. It's all on the line, fighting just to stay alive.
There we go. Looking good. It's got the music. It's got the moves. It's got everything, I think.
Yeah, it's a cool story, right, Kurt?
What's that? It's what?
a cool story. It's a cool movie, isn't it?
It really is. And I think one of the coolest things about it is we all, I got to meet you for the first time, and we got to work together, and others that I hadn't worked with before, like Billy, Cynthia I already worked with, but and the new people that I had never met before. I didn't know of at all. And everybody really came together. Everybody was so excited to be working on the film. And I got to say, I think the production just went off beautifully. It could have been one of those films where you go, oh, well, this didn't work and that didn't work. But I feel like everybody really came together. There was a lot of really good energy on the movie.
It really was. We all got along so well, no egos. For me, one of the most interesting things was to meet Kurt, because Kurt and I were in No Retreat, No Surrender. I heard so many stories about No Retreat, No Surrender 2, and he probably heard stories about the second, and we kind of had this kinship of these two movies that got us basically started, right? That were, I think No Retreat, No Surrender, the first one, is more culty because it was the first of its kind, and No Retreat, No Surrender Part 2 was completely different. I mean, different genre, different world. It was not a consequential sequence of the first one, really.
Yeah, no, completely different film. But I feel like No Retreat, No Surrender 1, and then of course 2. That was kind of the beginning of that martial arts film, American martial arts film explosion. It's kind of the beginning.
It really was. And if I look at No Retreat, No Surrender, Kurt, your fights, they were so good and clever. It was really new. All of this was new. Yeah, it wasn't done before, so it had this wow factor in it.
Yeah.
But today, a lot of people can do what you guys did back then. Then, no one did that.
Right. It was all new stuff, and we shot that film in really 6 weeks, and then took a break for Christmas, and came back and went to Seattle to shoot some establishing shots in Seattle, like Bruce Lee's grave scene and all of that. And the establishing shots, going up in the Space Needle and all of that. But really 6 weeks, and I just learned everything on the set at night. After we finished shooting, we would choreograph and practice moves and parts to the scene. It was just bam. And I can just remember being so tired all the time, because it was, I think, 6 days a week we worked, and pretty much sun up to sundown we were shooting to get it all in.
How was the relationship between you and Van Damme? Were you like brothers in arms?
Yeah, we got along very well, and I mean, he wasn't in it as much as you might think. You think of the final fight scene.
Yeah.
So he wasn't around, but when he was there, we we had some fun. We had good times. We had to push his Volkswagen to get it started every time he left at the end of the shoot.
Right.
You know, he had an old beat up Volkswagen. His car was worse than mine.
Isn't that great when you think back to those days, how you started out, how humble all of you were?
I can just remember Matthias driving down Sunset Boulevard in my little shitty car after I got the part, you know. Just and it didn't have a cell phone. I couldn't call anybody or tell anybody. I was alone. But you know, for me, I'd been in Hollywood 5 months, and I get this part. I'm driving down Sunset Boulevard, the sun's setting, and I'm driving down the road, and I go, I just got a part in the movie.
Kurt, where were you living at that time in LA?
I was in Sherman Oaks, right
Oh, yeah.
in the valley, right over the hill.
I lived there too. So, what other? Sorry, that I'm straying away, but it's so interesting.
No, you carry on.
Yeah, Kurt and I, we talked a lot on the set. Trust me, but still things that I'm so curious about. So, you lived in Sherman Oaks, yeah?
Right.
When you first arrived in LA, was that the first place you went to go?
No, actually, I first arrived and stayed with a friend of my father's in San Diego for about
okay, yeah,
3 weeks to a month. Then I stopped off and saw my brother, who was a professional ice skater at the time, and he was living in Laguna. And I stayed there for a couple of weeks. And during that time, I was going into, LA, and I would remember sitting on my car, pull up to find a phone booth, which we used to have back then. A bunch of coins, and would go through the drama log for looking for agents and things like that I could call, looking for acting classes that I could take, and then had another paper of some sort looking for apartments. And then a friend of my brother's gave me a couch to sleep on in Hollywood for 3 or 4 weeks, and then I found an apartment in Sherman Oaks. So
it's wonderful. I have to tell you, for all of you people that don't know this, it takes a lot of conviction and energy to make that move to Hollywood, right? And none of us has anything, which is better. If you have nothing, it's better that if you have rich parents and you live in.
You have nothing to lose, right? When you arrive, with you've got nothing to lose. You go, people. You probably experienced this too. People would say, "Well, what? You're from Kentucky. How are you going to go out to Hollywood and do anything?" I go, I don't know. Maybe I won't. But I'm not going to sit here thinking about it. I'm going to go give it a try. What about you coming all the way from Germany? I mean, that's even a bigger move in my mind. Coming. Did you have a pretty good command of the English language when you first came over?
No.
Yeah.
I couldn't speak English. It was illegal, the whole thing. But you learn fast. You learn by doing. I had a girlfriend that was amazing. She taught me everything about America, how to order food and how to pronounce things. And there's so many stories. It's just, I would have to say, one of my favorite times in my life is the time when you first break in, you can't believe it, right? No retreat, no surrender. When you book that job, I booked it like you. I booked it, and I drive with an old Cadillac that never always breaks down, never make it. And but you don't care. It's like you made it. It's unbelievable. You think you made it.
Just being there for me was everything. I'm here. I had to get a job as a waiter because that's what you do. You get a job at the tables, and I'd never done that before. I was selling cars when I left Kentucky. Dropped out of college, got a job selling cars, saved up a bunch of money, and said, "Going." But you've made it already because you're there. You're in California. You're in Los Angeles, and it's where it can happen.
Yeah, we talk about California. That has the beaches, that has Baywatch, it has all these Hollywood studios. It has the larger than life people, Hollywood sign, Hollywood Boulevard, Chinese Theater. It just is overwhelming, right? Overwhelming.
It's just amazing. You get there, and people would say, "Is it a culture shock?" And I said, "Well, not really. It's not a culture shock per se, but it's just it's pretty much what you thought it was going to be, and even better.
Exactly
And
what
back
you-
then, Hollywood, it was more raw, it was grittier, it was different. It was not, now it's glitter and lights, more so. I mean, you always thought of it as that, but
Yeah.
now even just with reality shows and game shows and American Idols and things like that, we didn't have all that back then.
No,
And
it
I
was
like
a very,
that.
yeah,
I like
and
that we
everybody kind of knew each other in their field. Last question, then we go back to Last Kumite. Last Kumite. What
You
year
didn't
did-
know this was going to be a reunion between me and Matthias, did you?
I was hoping it was.
Kurt, what year did you show up there?
1984.
Oh, 2 years before.
And I started shooting No Retreat, No Surrender in 84, finished in 85, and then it wasn't released until 1986.
No, that's wow. That's when I
Yeah.
got off the boat. You were already in the movies. Wow, good
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
Okay, back to Last Kumite.
Okay, yeah. All right.
So yes, you got Paul Herzog doing composing, who did music for Bloodsport and Kickboxer. So someone went through our list of everyone's wants for a new film, I think, because you got Stan Bush, also from Bloodsport, Kickboxer, and others, Transformers, a movie, and a lot of other stuff, who sings the title song. You got Ross W. Clarkson, the director, who did Kickboxer, Retaliation, Mechanic, Resurrection. He was also working on Expendables 2, Conan Barbarian, the Ninja films. So yeah, we've got a who's who of behind the camera. And then Cynthia Rothrock, the Quizzy Brothers, U2, Matthias Lander, Emilian DeFalco, Billy Blanks, Bolo Jr., and Mike Mola, and a list of others. So yeah. packed.
Packed movie. Yeah, they're actually way more people other than that. We had the Viking, David Kurtzall, who also has a podcast, the Viking Samurai Show.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so he came. He took what's his name? Ernie Falco. He got injured.
Emmeline. I've only seen DeFalco. Yeah.
Yeah, so he took his role.
Yeah, so he wasn't in the film.
Oh, he's not in it.
Yeah, he wasn't. He was supposed to be, and then something happened. He couldn't make it, and then David took over that role. And then somebody was in the role that Mula ended up taking, and
That's true.
Munya, came over from France, from Paris, and she
I'm very happy
addition.
that she was an amazing addition. Didn't you
Yeah.
think so?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, I love her.
Yeah.
She's
We all had a romance, I think. We just
Yeah.
loved everybody that we worked with. Not one of those sets where you go, oh, that guy.
No,
She's
there was
an
it was
asshole. It was none of that, really, at all for us.
yeah, it was a total romance for all of us.
Well, that's a testament to Sean. Sean Lowe putting bringing all of us together. He did an amazing job of assembling this group of people to make this film. Incredible.
He did an amazing job. Amazing.
It's not easy to do.
No, he's a natural born producer.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
He did all the campaign and on Kickstarter and Indigo and everywhere else to get the funds and promoting it and everything. Yeah, so hats off to him.
You bet.
But let's have a look. So yeah, it's the old school action-packed movie in the style of Bloodsport, Kickboxer, No Retreat, No Surrender. So where did it film? Was it all? So is there some in Thailand or somewhere else, or was it all filmed in Germany?
No,
all Germany. Yeah.
I was about to say it was all filmed in my trailer. I had the biggest one.
For the green screen up.
No, we didn't have a trailer. That was the fun part. We all huddled together shooting wherever we were. There wasn't even time to be in the trailer, to be honest.
No.
Right? It was Kurt, you worked more hours than I did. I was kind of a lone wolf with my scenes, and you guys were the group always together. You guys worked your asses off, I can tell you that.
but when you're working on a film, it becomes all consuming anyway. It's like if you do have some downtime, you really don't know what to do with yourself anyway. So you really rather just be living it, the whole time and just do it, especially when it's so quick, when it's such a fast shoot. And we had, we were in Hamburg and we were in Dusseldorf and, we were, amazing the amount of different locations that we did have.
Yeah. The movie looks and feels and is very big. It's not a low budget movie, so it's a good movie. It's a good budget. It has huge sets. It has everything you can dream of. It's partially shot in New York, and Bulgaria. Don't ask me how they pulled it off, but you'll see it in the movie.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Certainly looking forward to that. Without spoilers, could there be a sequel one day if everything takes off?
I don't. Oh, I
know it says The Last Kumite, but that sort of suggests it's a one-off.
Yeah, the next one's going to be called The Last Kumite.
Definitely The Last Kumite.
Oh, definitely there could be a sequel. Absolutely.
Yeah, it definitely feels like that could be a thing for sure.
Oh yeah. You can easily bring most of the characters back. There were some interesting,
except for the ones that died.
Yes.
I got twin brothers, I'm sure.
Yeah, but their death certificate was falsely filled out. So it turns out
wait a minute, he's breathing. A direct pickup in Last Kumite too. Yeah, but no, we could definitely see that. We would certainly. I know. I feel like I speak for all of us. We would all love a chance to work together again.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think Sean is gearing up for another movie anyway, right?
Well, yes, I suppose you could just reuse this every cast and have others come in and just do it all something different, but with everyone again.
Yeah, listen, the movie had a good storyline and the characters are amazing. Kurt's character is amazing. They all have their own storyline, right, Kurt? You all have your own world that you bring into this movie, and all your worlds collide, and then you have to figure out how to survive.
Yeah.
And beat the beast, so to speak.
The ultimate villain is breathing down our throats.
Yeah, and the situation, right? The whole thing. I think it's really interesting. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, sounds very good. So yes,
we had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
For the premiere, I think there were tickets. I don't know if it's already sold out though. Wasn't there? But I think there's people on the campaign had a chance to be at the premiere as well. And
yeah, I think they're doing 2 shows. Kurt, is that what's going on?
I think so. I'm going to Dusseldorf in March. Before that, to do 2 screens of No Retreat, No Surrender. And I know we sold out the first day, so we did a second day, and that's sold out too. So I can't remember if we're doing two probably of the Last Kumite as well, right?
Yeah, I heard something about 2, but it could be literally that it is No Retreat, No Surrender, that this is 2. Because as far as I remember, they were sold out like the first day.
Yeah.
Right.
It went very quick. As soon as I saw it announced, like, it's gone.
Yeah. I mean, when we were shooting, Gareth, the people came, there were quite a few people from England that came over.
Nice.
Yeah.
Because I know Oliver Harper's going to be editing the film, and he's a big fan of the martial arts films. And
Oliver.
He's on YouTube. He does retrospectives of the films, and he's a big fan.
Oliver, yes, does one of the best retrospectives in the business for these type of films. Yes.
Right, so I'll go back to the beginning of the chat. We'll see how these people are. So Dan's Movie Cave is the first one here. So he's looking forward to it. He's a big fan of the old action films and spaghetti westerns, etc. So he's got some question, a few questions he's got us. So a question for Kurt first about starring alongside Cynthia Rothrock in Sworn for Justice. I think that's had a special release, hasn't it, recently? And John, so we've done Jean-Claude Van Damme, but yeah, lovely Cynthia, because she's in The Last Kumite as well.
I had a great time working with both of those. Jean-Claude and I were both just so green, literally right off the boat, both of us. So we were happy to be working in a movie together. Cynthia had already done a bunch of action films when we did Sworn to Justice, and I was on Guiding Light, which is a daytime soap opera in New York. So, and I was in major storyline there, so they had to give me the time off to come to LA to film that. And Cynthia and I met for the first time, and we talked about how we would have almost met on No Retreat, No Surrender 2, and
Sure.
Matthias as well. But so we had a great time talking about working on the two different films. And then once again, it was a very, very quick shoot, and we had some good chemistry, some good a few love scenes in that which was a little different from your average martial arts film, and then it had some good fighting stuff. So I had a great time on that. I was there, and my wife was literally like 8.5 months pregnant while I was shooting. So I literally had to carry around a beeper with me just to know if I was going to have to get out of there and head back to New York real quick. But luckily, I got the film in the can and made it back before that happened. But good experience working with both of those actors.
Yeah, and so let's have a look. So now over to Matthias. He's Dark Angel, because is Dark Angel a Christmas film?
Yes.
There we go. So and then you had to throw poor old Dolph around like a rag doll a few times, didn't you?
Yeah, Dolph, poor Dolph. No, but Dolph is actually a massive guy. He's the same height like me, so we had to make myself look way taller, which is not true in real life. And he just before he kills me off, he actually sidekicked me into my chest, and I plunged backwards into this pipe and get stuck there, and then he shoots me. And oh man, he is a powerful kicker. Yeah, 4 weeks I had. For 4 weeks, I think I had bruised ribs. And wow, yeah, I respected him, and he was awesome. It was just fun to work with him. It was a fun movie to work all together.
Yeah. There's another connection. TC 2000, because Billy Blanks, isn't that Billy Blanks is in that one?
Oh yeah, Billy Blanks. Now Kurt and I, we got the pleasure to work with him again, right?
Yeah.
And what do you think of him, Kurt?
Of Billy?
Yeah.
I don't like him. No, super nice guy.
Amazing.
I didn't get to work with him, and then for No Retreat, No Surrender 2, but certainly knew of him, and then he took off with the old Tybo thing, which I thought was just great.
Yeah,
it's amazing, and he's still going strong with that.
He's still doing it, yeah.
Teaching that
It
stuff.
must be working.
And on the movie TC 2000, again, he was such a consummate fighter, amazing human being. He was the lead in the movie with Jalal Mary and Bobby Phillips. And I had the pleasure of fighting him again. And wow, he can fight that one. Billy Blanks, super.
Oh yeah, he's the real deal for sure.
He's the real deal. My respect to Billy. I love Billy. We all love Billy.
Because is Bolo Senior in that one, TC 2000?
Yes, he is. Yeah.
Ah, yes.
And we had now the pleasure to work with his son.
Yeah.
Last meeting.
Yeah.
David.
Very nice guy. Looks like his dad, kind of, right?
I never met his dad. I didn't get to work with him, but
They haven't
but I
seen
know
it.
what it looks very similar. Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he was a bit injured, so he was so
Yeah.
looking forward, and he pulled his hamstring. He still pulled it off. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah, he did it. We had a couple other injuries on the film too. Of course, his injury
Yeah.
happened before he even got there.
Yeah.
So it definitely it was unfortunate that it hindered him being able to do as much as he would have liked. But I had a growing pull, and I had a shoulder thing, and I had a couple things that I had to nurse. And I thought back, I thought every martial arts film I've done, which is just 3 now, I've had some sort of little injury on every one of them.
Yeah.
It's like you just don't escape that, or somehow, or I haven't,
Right.
Some little nagging things, not something that would take me out, not
Right.
keep me from being able to do all of that stuff, but just enough to make you, feel it, and have a little bit of, have to deal with a little pain while you're working.
And I think to be fair, now that we are in our late 30s, it's a bit harder. It's a bit harder now.
Yeah.
Isn't it, Kurt? It's a bit harder than before. You think you're still the same, but you get injured faster now.
You do, and you don't recover from the injury as quickly. It just goes on and on and on for months before you finally get through a lot of ice, sometimes some ibuprofen, and just keep going. But what's the alternative? I think that you're going to have injuries no matter what. You have injuries because you're not working out, or you have injuries because you are working out. So,
Kurt, you did such an incredible job. I was sitting there being the bad guy watching all this. I was like, oh man, thank God I don't have to be in that ring. It's not that I don't fight later, but I mean, the ring was the hardest fighting because you had to memorize so many fights in a short time, and you had many fights. With Munya also, who's wow, you guys did some incredible moves. I know you were like really. I was always coming up to you, how you feel, because I feel for you, because I felt like, wow, this is nerve-wracking.
Because everybody was about 20 years younger than me. and let me tell you something. This guy too, his final fight scene was in the hot sun all day long.
Oh, right.
I mean, it's like, I don't know how you did that.
Yeah,
that was grueling.
Yeah.
A grueling scene.
It wasn't so much fun, but it's so weird because Billy and I was fighting each other, and we fought each other in the peak of our careers,
Yeah.
And then 35 years later, we're still trying to do the same thing, and then the sun was so hot. It was in the 30s, and it was crazy. But we did fine, and it's the end fight, the not the big end. Yeah, no, it's kind of like it was important, because if you watch the movie, you will understand why we fight each other.
Yeah. Well, this is why you never, if you give anybody advice, this is why you never stop doing what you do, and you never stop working out. Because had we stopped, 10 years ago or 5 years ago or whatever, we would not have been able to do that. You just got to you just can't stop.
Right. But just so you know, it's like 7 years before this, I had a training session with Mike Muller, and we had the whole stunt team there, and we did incredible things. And I ripped both of my meniscuses that day, and I never recuperated from it. I had three surgeries now, or 4 actually, I think, on both knees. And that's what we were saying. It's harder now because you do get injured at one point. It's nobody's fault. My own, it's just, it happens. Like professional soccer players, boxers, anyone that's a professional athlete, sooner or later is in danger of ripping a meniscus or tearing whatever. There was this other guy, I forgot his name. It's so wonderful. Who? What did he happen to him? He tore his hamstring, right?
Oh no, he blew out a knee. The guy that we had a fight scene together. and he went just in rehearsals to just kind of walk through the move gently. He had to do some flips and some crazy stuff, and he just
scared. Remember that? Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
We were all going, oh no, and everyone was saying, oh my God, this is his job.
Yeah.
He does it for a living. So you do this for a living, you need your.
He's a young guy, so it's a perfect example of how it happens to anybody. You have to, I had forgotten, because for me, a pure action film like this, I hadn't done one since I did Sworn to Justice with Cynthia Rothrock, and that was in 1996.
Wow.
This is my first one back in the game since then. Everything else has just been regular, acting jobs. So you forget how careful you have to be and what kind of condition you have to be in just to do this kind of stunt fighting. And
I tell you one thing, Kurt, that's not anything bad, but nobody cares like Ross or, well, of course, Mike Miller always cares because he's like not like a father figure, but he's like your best buddy. Everybody expects you to perform. Like, so Kurt, you get on the mat. You have to live up to it. I don't care if they're 25 years younger. They expect you to be the same, right?
Yeah.
The level of expectation.
They do ask you going into it. You can still do this, right? And you say yeah. If you say yeah and you can't, you get there and you can't. It's a problem.
Yeah, you got to do it.
Luckily, we knew plenty in advance and could kick up the training a bit, because typically I would only do martial arts training once a week, and I had to obviously a few months before that do more than once a week. So.
Yeah, you got to get prepared for it. That's our job.
It's so rewarding, so rewarding, wasn't it? When we had finished it, it just felt really, really good. We all had a tough time leaving. I think we were all like, I don't want to leave yet. I don't want to go.
It was summer. Germany is just like England. It's so beautiful in summer. Just like back east.
Absolutely gorgeous. And my wife's German, so we had planned a vacation to Germany as well that same year, just by chance, and really didn't know we would be in Germany much. And then so I turned around after being back in the States for several weeks and went back to Germany. And that time I got to see Munich and Berlin, and went to Austria and Darmstadt and Coburg and Braunschweig and all those great, amazing cities. Really a lot of fun.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah.
So, question. Oh, if I double click, question from 101 Bronson, Jeff. Last time you mentioned Dark Angel 2, and I saw something about that on your Instagram today. Did I?
Yeah.
The script is finished.
Script's finished. The team is being assembled, but I can't say anything yet.
Okay.
Thank you for asking. We're getting closer.
Okay. Nice. So
you got a part for me in that?
Absolutely, yeah. Like I said,
the dark angel.
You take my role.
I can just be your sidekick.
Standing. Put a blonde wig.
Yeah. Really, literally just in the development stage, I have to say. So, yeah.
All right. Well, we'll keep an eye out for that. To follow Matthias on Instagram. And so, yes, Nos wants to know, who would you like to sit down and have a tea or coffee with, either alive or dead? I guess anyone.
Yeah. Good question.
That you've not met.
Oh, wow. There's so many interesting actors, you mean? Or
it could be anyone, I guess.
Oh, anyone. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anyone?
Kurt, anyone?
There's so many, I mean, like gazillion, trillion people that I can think back on. I guess since we're talking about martial arts films, here, I guess to be able to sit down and I met Bruce Lee's wife, and daughter, but I never met Brandon, and I never met Bruce Lee. So yeah, martial arts wise, to be able to sit down and have coffee with Bruce, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I would like to join that too.
Yeah. Such an interesting guy, character, off screen, as well as the way he brought such character to his work as an actor. But it seems like he was a real interesting dude as well, off camera.
Yeah, totally. I agree with everything you said.
Yeah, he was just so interesting, wasn't he? And then it's been 50 years since he passed away, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Well, yes, you visited. Well, yeah, Kurt's visited his grave and spoken to his ghost. So yeah.
Yeah. That was rather surreal, having that scene at the gravesite. Rather. Seeing him in a small theater in downtown Louisville, in like the ghetto, where they were playing these martial arts films when I was like 13 years old. To go with my karate instructor he took me and a couple of the young guys to see a Bruce Lee film down there, and just wow, that's you want to be able to do that,
yeah.
And then 8-9 years later, I was actually in Hollywood doing it. So
that's crazy, huh?
Very, very fortunate to have that happen.
So yeah,
and being in a film that's really a classic now.
Yeah.
It definitely is. Yeah. So yeah, did you have the beeper in your underwear?
She says that. I don't know. I guess I did. Probably, when you got the robe on and all that stuff, you're waiting to go do the love scene. It probably was right there, and then obviously didn't have it on when the cameras were rolling. But I guess I did have it with me the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, let me tell you the true story. Cynthia is still carrying the picture around in her phone. It must have made some sort of an impression on her. It must have made some sort of impression.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, you have to know, Kurt is always the pretty boy. So I believe Cynthia must have been really enamored, having had that opportunity. Both of you.
We were really
awkwardly fun.
Yeah. Well, we were both pretty young when we shot that film, so.
Yeah. And the wind was blowing.
So no question for us. When you this is for the Last Kumite, was there any guerrilla? I know he's autocorrect when gorilla, but yeah, guerrilla filmmaking. Is that like?
Yeah, maybe you can say that, or maybe not. What do you think, Kurt?
I don't know if it really, because I think of guerrilla filmmaking is, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's when you're shooting randomly somewhere that you don't have a.
It was highly organized.
So there was really none of that.
Highly organized, big budget movie organized by Wayne, the producer. That was all of it was.
We were mentioning Sean, but obviously Wayne is one of the producers as well.
Yes,
instrumental in making everything come together as smoothly as it did.
Without Wayne, God bless him.
Yeah, everybody. I mean, Ross did so many different things, on that film. Mike Muller, who was an amazing choreographer.
Unbelievable. Mike Muller, Master Mike. We have to give credit to all of them because despite the fact that it was not a low-budget movie, there's never enough time.
Yeah.
And we were so many. The cast is so big. We had so many locations that are like 8 hours away from each other every day. Minimum 2 hours driving to locations, and then location change to different cities. It was very, very difficult to organize. Always, we had the best hotels, we had the best food. Everything was first class.
Yeah. Yeah, amazing. So I certainly didn't expect that to be the case.
I mean, I did because
you know Germans.
yeah, I had a hunch that Sean and Wayne would be kicking it out of the park, you know. So
yeah, yeah. So great, yeah.
So what were your favorite movies growing up?
Good question. For me, if I answer it first, I make it quick. It was obviously the Stallone and Schwarzenegger movies. Besides the French movies, that is my personal thing. But action-wise, all the Predator, Terminator, Rocky movies, and all that. You know, it just was a shoo-in for me, right? I don't know, Kurt. What was yours?
Probably hands down, Rocky 1. You know, was and then First Blood, two of my favorite films. I don't think they were duplicated since, really, in any of those genres of Rockies and Rambos and stuff.
I totally agree.
Those two were there. Certainly, Charles Bronson movies. The Mechanic. You know, I mean, he's great stuff, and Clint Eastwood as well, with Dirty Harry movies and things like. Love those 70s action films. I love 70s movies in general.
Yeah, I got a real appreciation for them now because they look fantastic and
very gritty, very real, no special effects. You know.
Yeah, it was a camera in a real place.
Story driven.
Right. So if it's all right with you two, we have someone that wants to speak to you in person.
Yeah.
All the way from Holland.
How you doing?
Hey guys.
How's it going?
How you doing, guys? Matthias, good to see you again. I actually talked to you on the last time you were on Gareth's channel. We had a little chat there. So it's great to see you again. Great to meet you, Kurt.
Good to see you.
Good to see you guys. Obviously I loved your answers that you just gave on the favorite movies. As you can see from the posters by me, I think we have a similar taste there.
Absolutely.
So yeah, guys, I'm looking forward to the Last Kumite. It's going to be an awesome project, I'm sure. I've seen the trailer for it, the teaser trailer, and April 24th, I think you said it's coming out, the premiere, right?
Yeah,
I think that
April
was
24th. And
awesome.
The trailer really is not. It's a good trailer, but I mean, it doesn't even do justice to the movie.
Yeah, that's not the real trailer.
Yeah, it's brief.
That's what they call a sizzle reel. But there will be an official trailer at some point. Do we have the date on that yet? I don't think so.
No, but I've seen some versions of it, and I was like, "Whoa, this is really good." There are so many interesting scenes in it. That's really cool stuff in there. Really.
Yeah.
Looking forward to the trailer then. Yeah, and of course the movie.
Looking forward to the movie because it's only like 2 or 3 more months. So.
Yeah. January's gone already.
It's not too long anymore. Yeah.
No, it's not too long.
Actually, I had a question for, if that's okay, Gareth, for Matthias on the upcoming Western projects that he has. Obviously, I'm also a big fan of Westerns. I know one of the Westerns, I think, is with Cynthia. Is there any release date for those yet?
Yeah.
Or...
Kurt, were you in that Western?
No.
Oh, none of us was.
Yeah.
We in the sequel. So I don't know too much about this film. All I can tell you, there's every legend you can imagine. It's already in there, right? She casted the roundabout of all names.
Yeah.
And I heard through the grapevine that it looks fantastic, and it's going to be a really interesting film. I'm myself dying to see it because there hasn't been a martial arts Western in a long time since Olivier Grenier did Savate.
Yeah.
And I think Michael, what's his name? Michael J. The martial artist, African American.
Michael J. White.
Michael J.
White.
White.
Yeah,
Apologize. Yeah. Michael J. White just did two of those, I think, right?
Ah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I just did 2 westerns, but they're not martial art westerns.
They're more straight westerns. Straight up
Yeah,
western.
yeah. The last one there is Cynthia is in it. Don Wilson.
Oh, that's the one I was talking about. Yeah.
Oh, that one. Yeah, you'll see Cynthia in action.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
she's
And I
good.
guess as a follow-up question on that, Kurt, would you love to do a western one day?
Absolutely, love to. I grew up in Kentucky, so I know how to ride pretty well. So to get to finally use my horseback riding chops would be great.
Oh, that's so funny, Kurt. I'm the opposite. I'm like, I know how to ride. And each western I do, hopefully I survive it.
Yeah. I rode horses and motocross, and I've yet to get to ride a motorcycle or a horse in a project. So that's on the bucket list.
So you got to do one of 2 films then, one Mad Max movie and one.
Before I go, I got to get those 2 in.
Right. Wow. Cool.
So, Gary, I think maybe I had a question in the chat that maybe you can pull up, or did you pull all my questions up already?
I think I was trying to see. There's a lot. I was trying to find them. Let's pull up someone else's.
Yeah, sure.
Well, I go first. Who would you? If you pick anyone to have a fight scene with, past or present, who would it be? Is it going to be someone easy or someone difficult?
Oh, easy! I want an easy one. Somebody who doesn't know martial arts.
What's her name?
Yeah. Margot Robbie.
I'd like to fight. Quite frankly, if you would ask me that question, I would say I would like to face up with The Rock.
Ooh, I would like to see that.
Yeah,
That'd be a good fight scene.
Yeah, it's just that we both a bit more of a brawler, so yeah, that would interest me. We'll see.
Yeah.
Well, yes, never say never, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Where you, Kurt? Who are you going to fight? A child or?
Yeah.
Or The Rock? Someone in between.
Right. I think Stallone.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
I'd like to have a fight scene with Stallone.
Wow, I like that.
I like that guy a lot. I tell you, he's done just amazing scripts that he's written, the things he's directed and produced. He's done so much. And the latest thing that he did, the Tulsa King, was actually great.
Yeah.
The series for, I don't know, Paramount or one of those networks, but it was great. Yeah. The guy just keeps going, doesn't stop. Amazing.
Energize bunny.
Yeah. See, you can aspire to be like that, because he just never
stops.
Never stops.
No. Yeah, he's going for it, isn't he? And let's have a look. So, the Dutch film buff is here. He's saying hello.
Hello.
Everyone.
Hello.
Right, and you got another one, Jeff? Because I can't find your.
Yeah, just one popped into me for Matthias as well. I think I heard him tell this story a bit on, I think it was Jason Brad's channel. Yeah, who was, I think, involved with the movie. About Steven Seagal. I think you had a funny Steven Seagal story when you met him, I believe. I could be wrong, but I think I heard that. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Well, so I'm in Russia, in Moscow, at the Ritz-Carlton, and I'm walking in. I've been there for 3 months, and turns out we both kind of stay there all the time, except the difference is that he has all the bodyguards of Putin, right? And these guys are huge, mountainous, no humor. They look like professional killers, with the headphone. And Steven always sits on one couch facing the entrance like a king, There's a lot of interesting people.
But he sits like this. That this is sort of his position.
No, I'm not kidding. That's exactly how it is.
Yeah.
And the Ritz-Carlton has very interesting people walking in and out, and he eyes them. And so I walk in, and then a security team is like saying, "Oh, that's a guy, you know." Because in Russia, I'm pretty known. And so I go to Steve and I say, "How you doing?" And he looks at me, you know, and he wants to get up. Then he looks at my shoes. He realizes that I have heels on. And he's my height, so he didn't get up. I noticed this first, right? But anyway, he didn't know who I was. He's like, "What? Who are you?" And I'm like, "Oh, we have a common friend, you know." And I was like deeply insulted inside, you know. He doesn't know who I am, you know. All these
Yeah.
guys know who I am. He doesn't. Oh, well, okay. What am I going to do? So I sit down. We talk, and he was really nice. So really nice, but he was more interested in my watch, which is this huge
Yeah.
gold watch. How much my watch would cost, and then I said, no, I'm here doing a movie with Andrew Batoviak. Oh, he didn't like to hear that because they hated each other apparently, you know. So I could not land any bonus points with Steven Seagal no matter what. Yeah, that was my Steve. It's not an interesting Steven Seagal story.
Wow.
I thought it was pretty funny
I have
because he
some
didn't want
more,
to get
but
up.
I have
Yeah.
really a nice one that happened in that
Oh.
hotel with him, but I can't tell it.
Oh.
Okay. No worries.
Right.
It's so bizarre. I won't even, you know.
Yeah.
Is it in your book, Matthias?
It's not in the book. No, I wouldn't do it.
As you can see, it's just behind him on the
Yeah.
poster there.
Oh, yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So, question for both of you. We'll start with Kurt. What martial arts do you do? Do you have a style? Or
Taekwondo was where I started, and then after I got my black belt in Taekwondo, I moved on to a PKA sanctioned kickboxing school that I went to in Indiana when I was in my teens. I went and did that. So really, kickboxing and Taekwondo are my main influences.
Matthias?
Oh, for me, judo, taekwondo, and then through the years when we were shooting movies, I had the pleasure to be trained by Benny Arquiders, you know, Jimmy Nickerson, who did the Rocky movies, Raging Bull. So you learn a lot prior to the movies itself because you are being taken to some camp, and there they beat you up, and you learn how to defend yourself. And like Jimmy Nickerson, for instance, in the first week he boxing, so he splits my lip, you know, really, baff, and then you know he says, "I'm gonna split your lips till you keep your hands up," you know. Each time you have, boom, so you learn really the hard way. But that was the old school people. Today, I don't think that would fly, you know. And at the end of the shoot, I actually we started beating each other up for real because I learned some, and then I took him down in front of everybody because he tortured me through the whole movie, you know. And I just went for it. For real. I mean, literally. But it's all done in good taste.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll wrap this up because I know Matthias has to go soon. So let's just finish this with Kurt. What's so great about the Last Kumite?
What's so great about it?
Yeah. What do you, apart from you're in it?
Yeah. I think it's by design, it's supposed to be reminiscent of an 80s martial arts film. So for everybody who grew up on that comfort food, you're gonna love sitting down to the table and to see this movie because I think it gives you that flavor. Sean Lowe's vision was to make it like that, like a classic film, because so many people were clamoring for it, wanting it. So bring in some younger actors and some of us 80s actors and 90s actors to the table, and I think it's a really good, raw, shoot it fast and make it good martial arts film, and I think it's really going to deliver. I think people will really like it a lot. Some good action stuff in there.
Yeah,
and Matthias is great. He's a great villain.
Yes, he is.
But the irony is that he's such a nice guy.
I was going to say that he's a really nice guy. So
he really hit it off. We really, I think
You really do. I really love you, Kurt.
I love you too, brother.
Yeah. What do you reckon, Matthias? What do you say about the Last Kumite?
The Last Kumite is everything that Kurt just mentioned. It's really a honest, straight attempt to recapture the 80s, 90s martial art films that we all love so much, based on the No Retreat, Bloodsport, Kickboxer series, with a very nice story, heartfelt. Will feel like it, will sound like it, will taste like it. And I hope we did a good job, all of us. Sean, Wayne, Master Mike, the whole team, all the actors. I have to say a big thank you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's wonderful.
And the extras, the people that came out, the people that supported us financially, the people came out from America, from Europe, all over. They went to the set. They spent with us days in the dungeons, so to speak. And they were there. They were cheering, shouting. They were invested. They got to be in the film, especially in the end when all havoc breaks out. I thought, this is for real. They did such a good job, and the police arrested everybody. People got knocked over, and I mean, it was just unbelievable.
All the way to the back, to the background performers. Everybody was really into the film, and
they were all into it.
I hope that all comes through.
We're talking about, we're not just shooting a few hours there. It's like long hours. And after the film, each night, everyone hung around, right? Kurt in front of the hotel, and everybody took pictures and talked to each other.
It was almost like an appearance every night after the shoot.
It was like
signed autographs and took pictures and
wonderful. So I hope you guys gonna like it, and thank you for the opportunity for both of us that we can talk about it. And I can't wait to see it myself.
Yeah, was it 3 months and before when it's public, and then I think it's be streaming at some point. We'll find out about that, and then I know there's some physical media, especially the soundtrack and etc. As some of the pledges from the campaigns, get those versions, and then maybe another day a full release on physical media.
Yep, absolutely.
Right.
Okay, song, Gareth. Appreciate it. Jeff,
goodbye to all of you.
Yes.
I see you in Germany. I'll see you in Germany, Kurt.
Oh, okay. See you soon.
Love you, brother.
All right. Thanks everyone for joining us.
Hi guys.